Hey everyone, and welcome back to Strange History. I'm so glad you could join us again as we delve into the mysteries behind some of humanity's most enduring myths and legends. There's just something so captivating about these stories, right? They send shivers down your spine one minute and make you question everything you thought you knew the next. And that's what we're here to do. Peel back the layers of folklore and see if we can find any truth hidden beneath. We're talking about those campfire tales, those bedtime stories, those myths passed down through generations that have captivated our imaginations for centuries. From creatures of the night to mythical beasts with deadly powers, we're going deep into the heart of these legends. Let's get started. Okay, so who doesn't love a good werewolf story? The transformation, the primal instincts, the fear they evoke. It's a classic for a reason. But what if I told you that the myth of the werewolf might have its roots in a real medical condition? We're talking about hypertrichosis, sometimes called werewolf syndrome. Now, before you imagine people turning into wolves under a full moon, let me explain. Hypertrichosis is a rare genetic disorder that causes excessive hair growth all over the body. Imagine living in a time when science was limited, and you see someone with this condition. The thick hair covering their face and body would have been startling, even frightening. It's not hard to see how this could be misconstrued, how fear and superstition could twist this medical anomaly into a monster. And let's not forget the power of storytelling. As these tales were passed down, embellished with each retelling, the image of the werewolf, a creature both human and beast, was born. From the fiery breath of smog to the fearsome roars of Hungarian horntails, fire-breathing dragons have scorched their way into our collective imagination. But what if these mythical creatures weren't entirely products of fantasy? What if they were inspired by something real, something awe-inspiring and terrifying all at once? Enter the world of geothermal wonders. Imagine, if you will, a time before science explained the Earth's fiery breath. You're traveling through a volcanic region, and suddenly the ground rumbles beneath your feet. Before you can process what's happening, a geyser erupts, spewing scalding water and steam high into the air. It's a spectacle that would leave anyone breathless, a raw display of nature's power. Now imagine witnessing such a spectacle for the first time, without any scientific understanding of what causes it. The Earth itself seems to come alive, breathing fire and fury into the world. It's not hard to see how this could spark tales of dragons, their fiery breath mirroring the geyser's scalding eruptions. The Earth itself becomes a monstrous force, something to be feared and revered in equal measure. Vampires, creatures of the night. These enigmatic beings have been a part of human folklore for centuries, captivating our imaginations and instilling fear in our hearts. From the dark forests of Eastern Europe to the bustling cities of the modern world, the legend of the vampire has persisted, evolving and adapting with each retelling. They've captivated our imaginations for centuries, lurking in the shadows of folklore and haunting our darkest dreams. The stories of these nocturnal predators have been passed down through generations, each culture adding its own unique twist to the myth. But what if these bloodthirsty beings weren't just figments of our imaginations? What if there was a kernel of truth buried within the layers of myth and superstition? Could it be that the stories of vampires were inspired by real events or conditions that our ancestors struggled to understand? Imagine living in a time when the line between the natural and the supernatural was blurred, when every unexplained illness or strange occurrence could be attributed to dark forces beyond human comprehension. We've all heard the tales: pale skin, an aversion to sunlight, and an insatiable thirst for blood. These characteristics have become synonymous with the vampire archetype, but where did they originate? Could there be a medical explanation for these traits that have been so deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness? An unquenchable thirst for blood. This particular aspect of the vampire legend is perhaps the most chilling, evoking images of nocturnal predators stalking their prey under the cover of darkness. But what if this thirst for blood was a metaphor for something else? Something that our ancestors couldn't fully comprehend? These traits, as chilling as they are, might have their origins in actual medical conditions that were misunderstood and misrepresented throughout history. In a time when medical knowledge was rudimentary at best, it's easy to see how certain symptoms could be misinterpreted as signs of a supernatural affliction. Without the tools and knowledge to properly diagnose and treat these conditions, people would turn to folklore and myth to make sense of the inexplicable. These tales would serve as both a warning and an explanation for the unexplainable, a way to make sense of the world in the absence of scientific understanding. One such condition is porphyria, a group of rare genetic disorders that affect the production of heme, a component of hemoglobin. This condition can manifest in a variety of ways, some of which bear a striking resemblance to the traits commonly associated with vampires. A group of rare genetic disorders that affect the production of heme, a component of hemoglobin. Heme is essential for the proper functioning of red blood cells, and any disruption in its production can lead to a host of symptoms, some of which are eerily reminiscent of the vampire myth. People with porphyria can experience a range of symptoms, including severe sensitivity to sunlight, which can cause painful blisters and skin discoloration. This sensitivity to light is often cited as a possible explanation for the vampire's aversion to sunlight. This condition would force individuals to avoid daylight, seeking refuge in the shadows and venturing out only under the cover of night. This would lead to a nocturnal lifestyle, further fueling the association with vampires. Imagine the fear and suspicion that would arise in a small, close-knit community upon encountering someone who only emerged after dark. This isolation would only add to the mystique and fear surrounding such individuals, making them prime candidates for the role of the vampire in local folklore. In a time when disease was often attributed to curses or supernatural afflictions, it's not hard to see how the vampire myth could take root. Okay, so we've all heard of Medusa, right? The legendary figure from Greek mythology who has fascinated and terrified people for centuries. Her story is one of the most well-known myths, and her image is instantly recognizable. That fierce Gorgon lady with snakes for hair and a gaze that could turn you to stone? Talk about intense. But there's so much more to her story than just her terrifying appearance. Medusa wasn't always a monster. She was once a beautiful maiden, cursed by the goddess Athena. This transformation from beauty to beast is a tale of tragedy and vengeance. But what if I told you that her story might have less to do with mythical monsters and more to do with something a little closer to home, the evil eye? The concept of the evil eye is ancient and has been a part of human culture for millennia. It's a belief that transcends borders and civilizations, appearing in various forms across the globe. The belief in the evil eye is ancient and widespread, dating back to at least the 6th century BC. It's mentioned in texts from ancient Greece and Rome, and even in the Bible and the Quran. The evil eye is a powerful symbol of protection and fear, representing the idea that a malevolent glare can bring about misfortune. It's basically this idea that someone can inflict harm or misfortune on another person just by looking at them with envy, jealousy, or even just plain bad vibes. This belief is so ingrained in some cultures that people go to great lengths to protect themselves from the evil eye, using everything from blue beads to intricate hand gestures. Think about it. The power of a look. It's something we've all experienced in one way or another. A glance that makes you feel uneasy, a stare that seems to pierce through you. It's a feeling that's hard to shake off, and it's no wonder that people have attributed such power to the eyes. But the fear of the evil eye was very real for our ancestors, and it often came with elaborate rituals and talismans to ward off its power. These talismans, often in the form of jewelry or decorative items, were believed to provide protection and keep the wearer safe from harm. Maybe that deep-seated fear is what morphed into the myth of Medusa and her deadly stare over time. The story of Medusa could be seen as a personification of the evil eye, a way to give a face to the fear and make it more tangible. Now let's slither our way to another creature of myth, the basilisk. This legendary beast has captured the imagination of many cultures, often depicted as a serpent king with a deadly stare that could turn a person to stone. From medieval manuscripts to modern fantasy novels, the basilisk remains a symbol of fear and fascination. But what if I told you that the inspiration for this fearsome creature might be a little less mythical and a little more, well, scaly? Enter the king cobra, a real-life serpent that's as majestic as it is venomous. This snake, found in the jungles of Southeast Asia, is the longest venomous snake in the world, reaching lengths of over 18 feet. The king cobra isn't spitting venom or turning people to stone, but its bite is nothing to mess with. It packs a neurotoxic venom that can shut down your nervous system, leading to paralysis and even death. In fact, a single bite can deliver enough venom to kill an elephant. Talk about a force of nature. The king cobra is also known for its intelligence and complex behavior. Unlike most snakes, the king cobra is capable of forming social bonds and even exhibits parental care. Female king cobras build nests for their eggs and fiercely guard them until they hatch. This level of care is rare among reptiles and adds another layer of intrigue to this already fascinating creature. While most snakes are content with a diet of rodents and small mammals, the king cobra prefers to dine on other snakes. This includes both venomous and non-venomous species, making the king cobra a true apex predator in its environment. Despite their fearsome reputation, king cobras are not aggressive by nature. They will usually avoid confrontation if possible and only attack when they feel threatened. The king cobra's presence in mythology is a testament to its impact on human imagination. From ancient texts to modern media, the king cobra continues to be a symbol of power and danger. It's not hard to see how the king cobra, with its deadly venom and imposing presence, could have inspired tales of a monstrous serpent king. There you have it. 5 myths that have roots in the real world, from diseases that inspired vampire legends to natural phenomena that might have led to the creation of fire-breathing monsters. It makes you wonder, what other stories from our past might have a basis in reality? The line between fact and fiction is often blurrier than we think, and sometimes the strangest stories are based on something much more tangible than we imagine. Let us know in the comments which myth you found the most fascinating, and don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more deep dives into the strange and mysterious world of history.